I'm Ilya Marchenko.
I'm Dennis Kudla.
I'm Jesper de Jong.
I'm Henry Laakson.
I am Francisco Cerundolo,
and
you are listening to the Game to Love podcast.
Hey, welcome back, tennis fans. It feels like an age since we did a podcast. I know they're getting few and far between at the end of 2022, but there are more coming up. We've got our end of year awards. We've got our Christmas Q&A. Don't miss those. But this one is all about one young lady, and that is Iga Swiatek. She had the year of all years, 2022. I'm labeling it the year of the Iga. I think if they had it on the Chinese New Year, this is what it will be for 2022. Anybody born in 2022, maybe there are a few Igas being born around the world due to her incredible year. But I just thought we have to dedicate a podcast to her because she deserves it. I feel that all of the stuff that's been going on the men's side, there's been all of the GOAT race and all of the drama with Djokovic and Nadal and Iga. She deserves the biggest plaudits out of everybody, men's, women's. She's broken so many records, and that's why we're here today to speak about her whole 2022, JG.
Yeah, and I think that's a really good introduction you've done there, Ben. The reason being, because I was going to say some of the same things, because last year everyone's focus was on what Rafael Nadal was able to achieve, which, let's be honest, was incredible. Djokovic unable to play in Australia, all of that sort of stuff with the vaccine and him not being allowed to play a lot of events in America, Canada, and just all the things at the start of the year. And then Djokovic ending the year so strong, winning everything. Alcaraz winning his first Grand Slam, Zverev looking quite good, then getting injured, Medvedev not performing. There was a lot of talking points on the men's side, and everyone was talking about how Rafa, what he was able to do was amazing. If we're being totally honest, probably the greatest achievement last year was Iga. Like, definitely. What she was able to do, I think, was the greatest thing in 2022 in tennis. I know Rafael Nadal winning an Australian Open has got to be up there. And the manner of the way he's done it with the career he's had, that is magical, especially for me because I'm a big Rafael Nadal fan. But you can't take anything away from what Iga was able to achieve. Them 37 matches in a row, her dominance on the tour has really made me now believe that she is going to be going in the same trajectory as someone like a Serena Williams. And some people are saying, oh, stop getting carried away. You can't just put Serena's name in there because she's one of the GOATs. If not the GOAT. But I genuinely believe that's what's going to happen now. I still see more dominance. I've predicted her, if you go watch our video, to win 3 Grand Slams next year. I really highly recommend watching that if you want to have a few laughs at Ben's terrible predictions. But yeah, the year of Iga was 2022, and we're going to go through some of the great moments in this episode.
Yeah, most definitely. Obviously, it's another name you didn't even mention on the men's, which should be in sort of parallel, is Carlos Alcaraz. Those two have sort of come to the forefront in 2022. We've got 2 new world number ones, 2 young world number ones, a first ever Polish number one, which that is massive. And she's really putting tennis on the map. And I think there's been a lot of stick that she's probably, received, I think. I'm saying that the wrong way. I don't feel that she received enough praise. It wasn't really that she was getting any stick. She just wasn't getting enough credit for her wins. She had to go 37 matches unbeaten, winning multiple tournaments along the way before anybody was even paying attention to her. She was already a Grand Slam champion. She had to get to the semi-final of Australian Open to start the year. And for some reason, that didn't twig that she was going to have an incredible year. Then she won a couple more tournaments. Then she won the Sunshine Double. Then it just kept on going. I mean, and then eventually everyone realized, oh, wow, the manner in which she beats people, it's just true dominance. That's the key thing here. Like you were saying with the men's side, all of these battles, all of these 5-setters. It's not like that for Iga. she absolutely decimates people when she's playing her best tennis. You look at some of the tournaments, you look down the list, and they're not even close, some of the matches. Some people are going to probably jump in and say, oh, but what? It's not a strong era. I disagree. I think it's a really competitive era, if anything. I think there's so many good young players coming through. She is just leaps and bounds above the rest. The only player that could have potentially challenged her on consistency was Ashley Barty, and she retired and gave up the number one spot, which Iga took and ran with, and she never looked back, did she? I mean, what an incredible number one continuation, I think, for Iga.
I want to ask you something, and in typical GTL fashion, it is a little bit argumentative by nature because you saying all these nice things about Iga, I don't understand your predictions. So you've just spoke about her dominance. You spoke about how good she is. You spoke about how when Barty retired, no one else was able to match her consistency and how she decimates opposition. But yet next year, you only predict her to win one Grand Slam, being Roland Garros. How can you stand behind that when Iga has shown time and time again how good she is? What makes you think she's only going to win one Grand Slam, Ben? Why don't you put your money where your mouth is?
It's a very good question, JG, and I like the fact that you pose that question. Some would say I've got to go out there a little bit, be a little bit less boring than the JG predictions. I'm going to try my best to throw something out there. I think Iga will still make finals potentially, or even make semi-finals. But I feel there's going to be people that start like up in their level. That's the way tennis works. When somebody's that good, everybody else has to get that much better to reach her level. And I feel that now they've seen her. I mean, we've seen her more than anybody else in 2022. There's enough footage of Iga Swiatek to go around the whole tour. They can all share like multiple tapes of her to watch and try and plan your game plan against her now. And there's going to be a lot of coaches out there. That'll be their main focus. How do we beat Iga? We can probably take on everybody else. What are the things that really ruffle her feathers in matches, and how do we get under her skin? Because Iga seems to be really good at getting under other people's skin on the court. We need to find something that sort of upsets her, because it doesn't seem when she's playing her best tennis that anything can upset her. That's what the real reality. I'm going for something a little bit different. I feel that it's such a big 2022. It's going to be hard to replicate it. I still feel that she'll do enough by winning Masters events and getting another Grand Slam. And I still think she'll finish the year world number one again. But unfortunately, I feel that there's going to be some other players that suddenly step up. And obviously, there were some young players. We've got Coco Gauff. She seems like she was a long way off maybe in 2022. Who knows? It only takes one good year or one good tournament to click, and then suddenly they become another great player. And she needs a rival. That's the one thing. She needs somebody who's going to push her. And we're still yet to sort of see who that's going to be. But we might find out next year.
Shout out to everyone who's joined us in the chat. We've got Rowdy Every Lap, one of our members, saying there is a bigger gap from Iga to number 2 than between number 2 to number 50 on the WTA Tour. That's a great stat.
I like that.
We've got Kathy in saying purple is my favourite colour, by the way. For our audio listeners who can't see, check out our YouTube. Me and Ben are fully in purple. Everything purple for Iga. Jean's loving the purple as well. We've got a Shishin, how we doing? Another member saying thanks, Ben and JG, for all you do for fans like us. Very, very appreciate it. Well, like Ben said, we will be back with a few more episodes. And I think we've got about 25 days or less than 25 days now for the Australian Open, which seems absurd. So we're going to be ramping up the content again for the new year very soon. And of course, we've got a few fun episodes planned as well. But this one's all about Iga. We've said our pieces on it all. I still am a little bit disappointed that Ben's only got Iga winning one slam next year. I know he's saying he doesn't want to play it boring, but I just don't think that's going to happen. I think she wins definitely more than one, and I'm happy to back it up with my prediction. But let's start off the year. So 2022, the year of Iga. It started with Ashley Barty. Let's be honest. Ashley Barty was the force who was world number one at the start of the year. We know that she then ended up retiring, but she started in amazing fashion. She lost in the semi-final, Iga, to Ashley Barty. And then in the Australian Open, she lost to Danielle Collins, who then lost the final to Ashley Barty. So for me, the Australian period was dominated by Barty, and she was showing she was the best player in the world at the time. It begs the question, if Ashley Barty was playing right now, would she still be beating Iga?
I think it'd be close. If I'm perfectly honest, I feel that she has. It's just consistency, and that's the one thing that Barty was always bringing to the tour that other top women couldn't. She was consistent over the whole of the season. That's why she was. I think she even missed last year, didn't she? She missed half the season and still ended up at number one. She was injured for half of it, and that's how dominant she was being and consistent in some of her tournaments. She could still be at the top of the tree. It would have been great to have seen that as the rivalry. Barty Iga. We thought it might be Barty Sabalenka, but then turns out Sabalenka just fell off completely. But Saba could still come back if she sorts her serve out. That could be a real challenger. She's the last person to beat Iga. Obviously, breadsticking her as well. What a way for Iga's year to end. After all the breadsticks and bagels that Iga dished out, she ended up finishing the year by receiving a breadstick, which was bizarre. But Saba's beaten her twice now in WTA finals, which I didn't expect. But Saba can do that to anybody on the tour.
Yeah, certainly. And one thing I would say is I disagree when you say Ashley Barty would be competitive with Iga now. I think after these first few months of 2022, Iga went to another gear completely, and she's leveled up so much. I think it's way beyond the level of Barty, and that's why I have such high hopes for her. And I bring up the names like Serena Williams because I think she's going to be like that. She is class. Ashley Barty for me was great, but her heart was never truly in tennis.
Yeah,
I really do believe that. That's why she's retired at such a young age. That's why she retired at the top. Heart wasn't there. I don't think she had longevity in the sport. I still think she's going to come back and play. I don't think this is the end we see of Ashley Barty. We may see her in a few years' time. And I still think she'll be competitive because she is an outstanding talent and a really good player, mentally very resilient as well. But what Iga's been able to do for me is eclipse all of that. And I think she's gone a few levels above right now. And we'll see it as we go down. So let's go through some of it more, because moving out of Australia, we then went to Dubai and Qatar in the Middle East. And they weren't great events for Iga. The Qatar was a lot better because she was able to win it. But the first one, she lost to Ostapenko. But it was very tight in 3 sets to a tie break. And then we saw the dominance begin. Qatar, she won the whole thing. Look at the nature of her winning it in a final. 6-2, 6-love. Dominance. She then went on to win Indian Wells, a Masters event, beating Sakari. Semi-final Sakari got to the final this time and still couldn't win. Another breadstick. It was just the dominance. And this is the start of that incredible streak.
Yeah, I mean, look at it. The breadsticks and bagels were starting to really flow by then. You saw Madison Keys. I mean, oh my word, 6-1, 6-love. She won't want to have have that on her resume or look back and watch the replay of that match. I think I remember it as well. She just looks she was like a fish out of water on that day. Madison Keys didn't know what hit her, and Sakari, no match really. Iga in finals is another thing this year that we need to speak about. We're going to go through a few statistics of Iga's year. We'll go through the whole year and just have a look at the tournaments, and then we'll go through a few of the Iga in numbers afterwards. And here we go. Obviously the Sunshine double she completed with relative ease there. Another bagel in the final against Naomi Osaka this time. That one we thought might be a bit closer. Osaka
Osaka was playing well. Osaka was actually looking quite good in this event. It's one she wanted to play. Her head seemed screwed on for it. And Osaka can do that because technically she's another one who has the ability to be the best, up there with Iga as the best player in the world when everything's going right. Doesn't have that consistency, doesn't have that drive which Iga possesses, in my opinion. And Osaka, it was a bit of a disappointing year for her because she didn't play enough events. Is she going to play? Maybe she'll play a full calendar next year and she'll be one of the top players, hopefully, because I think she's someone who can beat Iga. But didn't show it there in that final. Just quickly, I know we're talking about Barty. I know there's a bit of a controversial topic, but I want to talk about it. And that's Alex bringing it up. So Kyrgios, he posts on Instagram. He wasn't happy at all that he wasn't happy Barty got Best Aussie Player of 2022 award. Do you think that was right?
I mean, it's only probably because she retired that she got it, I reckon. I
Because
feel
he
that
posted all of the stats. So what he posted on his
I
Instagram
saw,
story, I did send it to you, was the
yeah,
breakdown between him and Barty and what they've been able to do.
yeah,
Kyrgios, of course, did win a Grand Slam in the doubles. He got to a
yeah.
final of Wimbledon. Barty did win a Slam in Australia, but then she retired. Who do you think Kyrgios is being a bit unfair?
No, I don't think so. I thought that he had he actually had a full season, so you've got to take that into consideration. And Kyrgios, I feel that Barty's year compared to her last year, it doesn't look like a massive up, does it? Whereas Kyrgios, on the other hand, it looks incredible. Like
Yeah,
compared
but we're
to his,
not talking about improvement. We're talking about who was the best Aussie player of 2022.
I'd say Kyrgios. I'd say for his
Okay.
consistency, I'd say he got to obviously, well, he won a Grand Slam doubles. He got to the Wimbledon final. It was semi-finals in the US Open as well. Wasn't it? It was, or was it quarters? I'm trying to think off the top of my head. I thought it was
Quarters, I think.
quarters, but it was an incredible. He should have been semi-finals, and I think he just looked great across the back end after Wimbledon. It looked like he really came to life as well. It looked like it meant a lot more to him, and I think that we're going to see. I've said it already. I think next year, I think that he's a driven person. He wouldn't put this post out if he wasn't bothered by tennis now. That's the thing. That's what makes me a bit more excited about Kyrgios now. Before it was just going on his PlayStation and then wouldn't have cared about any stats of tennis. Now he's actually like valuing the public opinion of him. And that can only be a good thing because now he's being self-critical. He's taking
He wants to be
offense.
the best.
Yeah,
he wants to be the
brilliant.
best Aussie player, and I actually do agree with you on this chat on this situation. I think Kyrgios was the best player, just about pipping Ashley Barty. But let's continue with the year of Iga and moving down. This is still the streak, so the Sunshine Double's done.
Yeah, I was going to say that match against Pagula. I think Pagula probably gave her a tougher match than the Sark. I remember that second set, and there was 8 breaks of serve, and Pagula up at 3-1. I remember that one. It was a bit of a mad match, and you were just thinking, "What is going on? Neither of these two can hold serve." It was terrible, but Iga still won in straights. That's the running thing.
Listen, the Billie Jean King Cup, we've got to quickly talk about it because I was a bit surprised after winning the Sunshine Double. She was playing the Billie Jean King Cup, and I mean, it was just embarrassing for the opposition. She lost 1 game in 2 matches.
It's not even a real match, was it? She didn't even really play.
It's pretty incredible.
Just practice.
She then went to Stuttgart, and I think this is the one with the car. Stuttgart.
Yeah, Stuttgart with the car.
Stuttgart with a car, and she got in the car. I think it was sponsored by Porsche.
That's correct.
Emma Raducanu, of course, she got to play her. Raducanu come quite close, and it was a very respectable loss in the end, 6-4, 6-4. Samsonova was the one where we thought it was all going to come to an end, though. I thought this was going to be the match where she was going to lose, especially, I think it was in that second set. Yeah, because the second set, Samsonova was up a set, and she was looking really good. It was just a great match. And this is why I've got Samsonova finishing so high in my 2023 predictions. I think she's class, and she showed in this match how good she can play. I mean, if she played like that all of next year, she'll be number 2 in the world.
Easily.
It's not going to happen, but she's got the level there.
We thought that she tricked us a little bit with that match, though.
She did fool me because I think after this I had her winning everything.
But she did have a great run of form leading into the US Open, though. Yeah. So she did actually.
I think that's when I stopped picking her. I kept picking her up until the US Open, and then she had the run at the US Open.
Because we had Garcia and her came in incredible form to the US Open. Yeah, I know. Anyway, let's keep on moving down. And, well, my favourite Masters tournament.
The clay here, the outdoor clay now.
That's it. My favorite Masters tournament of the year. She regained her title from last year, or retained it, should I say, in easy fashion. I mean, look at that. I mean, there's a breadstick, there's a bagel breadstick, and then 6-2, 6-2 against Jabeur.
All the second sets are just ruthless.
It's crazy, isn't it? How is she just doing that to these top players? And you see, look at the list of players as well. They're not like any old players. Azarenka,
Sabalenka, Jabeur.
Amazing, literally amazing. And she only won 2 tournaments last year, obviously, and this was one of them. And I think that is going to be sort of her tournament. I think every year it's going to be like a Rafael Nadal Barcelona style, Iga in Rome. I feel that that's going to be one that she sort of cleans up on. I think we could see about 10 or more Rome titles for Iga Swiatek come the end of her career.
Yeah. And then Roland Garros, her favourite Grand Slam. She won that
Amazing.
one. A little bit of trouble against Qinwen Zhang, someone we've got going quite high. And I feel all of our predictions basically are based on how they play against Iga. And that just shows how great of a player she is. Because when we
Yep.
came to do our 2023 predictions, go check it out if you haven't watched it already. It's already saved down on our YouTube. I'm sure you'll be able to find it somewhere. We all went big, me and Ben, on the players who played well against Iga. If you can produce against Iga, e.g. Samsonova, Qinwen Zhang, then we instantly have a lot more respect for you. And we believe that you can be a top player because she's simply that good. And she's like the barometer of how good of a player you are, is how well you can play against Iga, I feel. That is the ultimate test in tennis on the WTA.
I think so as well. And that's why I don't know, Coco Gauff still yet to really come close against Iga at the moment. And even though we both have her highly ranked, I don't think I'll have her beating Iga in any big matches. I feel that Iga will need to go out before, and then Coco will have more of a chance at the moment. She just doesn't seem to have that power that Iga has on the court. Not yet. I think it still can come. She's still 18, so it feels that Coco's been around for just so many years now that we expect more already from her, but she's still so young. So anyway,
Wimbledon, this is where the wheels started to come off for Iga's year, and she started showing that she was human. Against Patina Makarkova, she's not a top player, 138 in the world. She almost lost that one. I believe me and Ben were at Wimbledon on the day. She was a lucky loser in. Not the greatest of players, but yet pushed Iga all the way to 3 sets, and Iga won that one 6-3 in the third. And that was a signal for the next match because she ended up losing to Elise Cornet in straight sets, by the way. 6-4, 6-2.
Comfortable, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It did. I just feel that I was thinking about this before coming on here today, and I've just thought we sort of just forgave her for a little bit for that one, though. I feel that the amount of tournaments she played, the amount of sort of pressure that sort of like comes onto you when you're that longer winning streak and unbeaten streak, there probably was a little bit of too much pressure. Wimbledon not being one of her favoured Grand Slams anyway.
Well, you've got to factor into it. Look, 1 week before she was playing on clay, beating Coco Gauff. Wait, sorry, was that Roland Garros? There's literally
she didn't have a warm up. Yeah, she didn't have a warm up.
So she didn't have any warm up events. The last time she played was Roland Garros, and then she had a full clay court schedule where she won pretty much everything.
Yeah,
she did win everything. So she just played all of this clay court tennis, no warm-up event, went straight to Wimbledon and looked rusty. Let's be honest, she wasn't great, didn't perform. Elise Cornet, though, does beat big players at Wimbledon. She beat Serena there as well. She's got the ability to do it, and that's exactly what Cornet did. Big upset, and I'm happy for Cornet because she is a really nice lady. When we got to speak to her, I was really pleased. And if she had to lose to anyone, I'm glad it was Cornet.
Yeah, she was very, very nice person to meet him in person. And even though she shot me down for my question and wouldn't answer it, it was fine. It made it even funnier. She couldn't have gone out to a nicer person. So
and she did have her best season, as Alex said. She was brilliant in Australia as well.
Yeah, and she will be hanging up the racket, I believe, at the French Open in 2023. That's her plan. So. And isn't it? She's got the record of most ever consecutive Grand Slam appearances as well, Elise Cornet. It's just crazy what she's done in the sport. So very, very tough loss for Iga. And obviously, we remember the first question she received after the unbeaten streak was John Silk giving her question.
What do you mean?
So yeah, there was a few good memories despite the Iga losing her unbeaten streak. There were some good memories around that time, and then it was just what's going to happen to Iga next was the big thing. Is she going to fall off the deep end, or will she just go on another long unbeaten streak? And well, she went over to Poland, didn't she? She went back onto the clay before going to the hard court and ended up losing eventual winner Caroline Garcia, who obviously had an incredible year, defeated her in 3 sets there. So,
and another thing, when you see a player beat Iga, you start to look at her and think, who is this girl? Caroline Garcia. What she then did after this was magical. She had a fantastic year, maybe the biggest surprise of the year, Caroline Garcia. No one expected her to rise to what she was able to do sort of 5 years prior. And she beat Iga in Poland at the Iga Open. I didn't think there was no chance Iga loses on a clay event in Poland. I mean, it just didn't seem possible, and yet it happened. She beat Freck in the first round easily, beat Lee in the second round. You'd expect her to win them too, and then lost to Garcia and got breadsticked in the first set. Complete shock, but then Garcia is an awesome player, and she got all the way to the tour finals and ended up being one of the top players. So that's another thing where you can say credit to Caroline Garcia. I just want to give a shout out to Ratchet in the live chat. Thank you, Ratchet, for joining the membership. Really do appreciate that. If anyone else wants to join, it really does help me and Ben out, especially these times when we don't have as much tennis on. All of your support is very much welcome.
Yeah, most definitely. Moving away from that tournament, though, we moved into the Canadian Open in Toronto, and more, well, early exits here. Unfortunately, she defeated Tomjanovic with ease, and then Haddad Maia, another person who I'm surprised. Did you have her in top 10 for next year? I didn't. I think she'll be close. But this is another player beating Iga, not easy, and Haddad Maia, another person who sort of shot onto the scene. The Brazilian, she was. I think she won a tournament earlier on in the year. She looks really good as well. Could be a threat for 2023. I'm not sold on her yet, but that's still a big sign. As we say, beat Iga, you're on our radar.
Yeah, awesome player. I know I had her winning quite a few things, and she never did when I predicted her. I'm going to do the same next year because I think she's class. And this was the period where Iga started to develop a few fragilities in her serve. The second serve specifically wasn't enough pace, wasn't enough direction, and it was getting exploited by powerful players. Garcia just did it. Haddad Maia then did it in the Canadian Open. It was then done exactly the same thing at Cincinnati, losing to Madison Keys. Keys ate up them second serves, and that's what she's able to do. If you play Madison Keys on a hard court in America and your serve's not there, I don't think not many players can beat her because she's a really good player. And she's another one who I probably should have had higher in my rankings.
Well, and if we rewind to the beginning of the year, do you not think that there was just something deep inside Madison Keys? I got breadstick and bagel from her last time I played her, and that was in Australia. And she probably just wanted that win back. That was so embarrassing for her. So, yeah, she took it to Iga and took all the opportunities. Like you said, second serve just wasn't there. Slow as you like, and Keys can just fire off winners against anybody.
And then we went into New York, the US Open. Me and Ben not hot on Iga at all. Neither of us predicted her to win. Coming in the back of these losses, the serve not looking great. I thought she would have struggled at the US Open. But then saying that, I wasn't sure who was going to be the real big competitor, who was going to be able to beat her. We knew Sloane Stephens was going to be an early match. That could have been difficult. She managed to pass that test easily. Aside from that, she was helped out with some of the draw until she got to the quarterfinals because they're all very winnable matches for Iga. However, Niemeyer she struggled with massively. She was someone potentially I was going to put in my top 10. In fact, I did, and I changed it last minute. And Pegula, Sabalenka, Jabeur to win a Grand Slam doesn't get much tougher in this current climate on the WTA circuit. So 3 big wins in a row. They weren't easy, none of them. There's all very close matches, and this showed a different side of Iga. So start of the year, we see the 37-match winning streak, the dominance. We then see the serving go off a little bit, her losing Poland, a few of the other events not quite at it, getting eaten up on the second serves. She then was able to play US Open, not at her best, and win. She wasn't at her best. There was still a few shaky moments from her, but she found a way to win, and that's exactly what she did. Another Grand Slam, her first US Open. And this is where she announces herself for me as now the player to beat across all of the slams. including Wimbledon, because of her showing that she can play badly and win the US Open. It wasn't that bad, don't get me wrong, still very good, but badly for her level because we know she's that good. Then shows, watch out, rest of the tour. This is the year of Iga. This is the lady to beat. She's incredible, and I can win when I'm not playing at my best.
And I believe I saw a statistic that because she won that, which was obviously she won 2 Grand Slams in the same year. I believe it was the first lady to do so since Sharapova did it. And I think that I can't remember the year exactly. We'll have the stats coming up after this. But it's another sort of something to announce yourself with those big name players, which I think that is a key thing for Iga in 2022. Winning 2 slams in a year is not easy. That is a real difficult thing to achieve. And the fact that she did it not playing well, like you said.
Kerber in 2016.
Oh, okay, brilliant. Okay,
I
fantastic.
remember that now.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, got that wrong. So anyway, there was a statistic with Sharapova. Anyway, I'll go down the stats afterwards. Anyway, but yeah, Kerber, that was another incredible performance. She just had a stellar year that year. This one, to win not playing well, I thought that was more impressive than the French Open. To be honest, I didn't give her a hope. She just lost in 3 tournaments in a row, pretty much, coming in. Didn't look great. And then suddenly just turned it on. And poor old Jabeur loses another final. So what can you say? Probably sick of the sight of Iga. Right.
Yeah, moving to the Czech Republic, Barbara Krejcikova.
Oh.
Iga losing in a final doesn't happen. I think it's the first time she's ever lost a final. It was a very close one. It was a very good match.
Yeah.
Just got beaten by the better player on the day. It was a really good, well-contested event. I enjoyed watching it. We covered it on the stream, me and you. And yeah, Iga lost the final. I was a bit in disbelief. I don't think many people saw it coming, but Krejcikova turned it on, and we know she can when she wants to.
Yes, I will put a disclaimer out. She was sick for the whole entire week with like some sort of flu-y cold or something.
That too.
Yeah, and she still got to the final and still nearly won the event. So, and Krejcikova just too consistent, unfortunately, in that tournament. You're just not going to beat her when she's playing like that, especially if you're not on your full game. So, Krejcikova, credit to her. She had a great week and managed to sort of put. Well, she came back on my radar that day, I think, and I feel that's she's fooled me into putting her back in the top 10.
Yeah, big error. Massive error. I think you got carried away there just from that one result. San Diego was a really fun event. She played some good players and beat them all, beating Vekic in the final. Another one-sided match against Coco Gauff with a bagel and a free. And then we come to the WTA finals and some players we didn't anticipate to be in there, being Kasatkina, Garcia, start of the year. She managed to win both of them. And we're now thinking, she'll be all right. She's going to be fine. She's going to still be, she's going to win this whole thing. She's going to be great. She's the best player in it. And then lost to Sabalenka in the semi-finals.
Saba again. She just did it last year, did it again this year. She can just do that, Saba. I feel that it doesn't even matter who Saba plays. She's just always playing against herself the whole time. She's struggling with something inside her own mind. And well, the way she dispatched Coco Gauff, I just felt sad for Coco in that match. She just looked like nothing could go right for the Americans in Texas. I mean, there was no crowds there. There was nothing to support the Americans. And Iga, after she destroyed her, I just thought, well, nothing can stop her now. But apparently Saba, the roadblock that she needs to get past in WTA finals. Will she do it in 2023? We'll have to wait and see, won't we?
By the way, that the Garcia Iga match was one of the best matches of the year. That was a really good one. I remember covering it. I thought it was just such a high level from both players. And then Garcia went on to win the WTA finals.
Pretty crazy. Yeah, I know that we've got Gene saying match of the year for the Krejcikova Iga match, I believe, as well, because it was such a high level. So
I'm not sure if he's talking about the other one where Saba was 4-2 up in the third set against Iga at the US Open. I think he was talking about that one as well. That is another one which could be a contention for match of the year. Okay,
well, I'm sure there's quite a few. If you go run Iga close, then you're obviously in contention already for I think that Kim Win Zheng one was a real close one as well, despite the third set. But it put her a little bit on the map, and it was quite exciting. But yeah, let's go through some Iga stats now. I've just pulled some just from obviously a few websites which are quite interesting, to say the least. I'm sure we know a lot of them already, but some of them we might not know. So let's go through them. We've got the first ever number one from Poland. I mean, just massive round of applause to Iga for that. Having a look down the list, and that was 34 weeks already to top in the rankings, and that means she's already surpassed the likes of Osaka, Austin, Sharapova, Clijsters, Capriati, Sanchez Vicaria, Venus Williams for more weeks sat at the top already. Which, how mad's that?
Yeah, it's insane. I think she can really run the record close of Serena.
Next one, obviously the winning streak, 37 matches from 22nd of February to July the 2nd, the longest one in this century, and it bettered that of Venus Williams of 35 and Serena of 34. And obviously it started in Qatar, ended in Wimbledon, and it lasted for 135 days and is tied with Martina Hingis as the joint longest streak since 1997. Amazing.
For me, the days is not as important as the actual amount of matches, because if you could have an unbeaten streak if you played once and then played in 2 years' time and then won the next one. You've got a 2-year unbeaten streak then.
I think Djokovic.
I know it didn't happen like that, but
it's like looking at Djokovic's Wimbledon unbeaten streak. It's quite long, isn't it? Yeah. It's like saying, "Oh, he's not been beaten for 4 years or something." Right. Anyway, this one's a great one. I wanted to get to this one. Iga handed out 22 bagels, 20 breadsticks, and in case you're not sure what that means, she has won 22 set 6 love, 26-1. And her bagel record is the best in the WTA since Serena achieved 25 in 2013.
Yeah, just the dominance of a rowdy every lap here with an overview saying 67 wins with 8 losses and 8 titles. So she's won as many titles as losses in 2022.
Do you want to take us through that next point?
Yeah, so Iga herself lost only 4 sets, 6-1, and she was never on the receiving end of a bagel. Her final set of the season was a 6-1 breadstick at the hands of Aryna Sabalenka at the WTA finals. So it's pretty crazy how she hardly ever got breadsticked, but yet she ended her last set was a breadstick.
Yeah, a bit mad, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right. So obviously the points are crazy. 11,085, the most since Serena in 2013, who had 13,615 and made $9.8 million in prize money. And that is her overall earnings now 14.7, a 34th in the all-time list already.
Yeah, that's a lot of money. I didn't realize it was that amount. But fair play. She's definitely securing the bag. If we ever get her on, maybe she can share some with us.
Yeah, maybe. And saying
like, even if it's like 50 quid or something.
Well, I'll take it. Send in a super chat. Right. This one is just going to fly through Iga's year in numbers quickly. This one, obviously, talking about number one is her being world number one. She produced a 41-6 record as the number one and held.
Just quickly, it's important, that one, because it's so difficult when you're at the top to keep winning. Adklas, he become number one and started losing quite a bit. Yeah. So this just shows that while she's at the top, she's still able to keep winning, which is so difficult to do. Osaka can do it.
A lot of them can't do it. That's the thing. That's why we see so many different world number one on the women's side. And that's why Ash Barty was able to just stay up there. Right. Number of Grand Slam titles won, obviously, 2. And it says it's the first player to win more than one since 2016. There you go. Got that one right in the live chat. I'm muddling all of my facts I was reading up. There we go. So number 3, number of Grand Slam titles won in 2022 by Swiatek. She is tied for 3rd with Angelique Kerber among active players. Only Venus Williams and Naomi Osaka have more. Oh, okay. That's interesting. Among active players. Right, okay. So, number of sets that Iga lost on clay, 4. and that was in 19 matches.
Yeah, because I keep forgetting Serena's no longer an active player, but when she's going
Exactly.
to come back in Australia, so then
Oh,
does that mean that stat's not valid anymore?
maybe. Who knows? Serena, put us out our misery already. Come on. 5. Number of times Iga won a set by 6-love or 6-1 in a final in 2022. Quite a
Yeah,
good one.
it is truly magical. And shout out to Jean for the super chat.
Cheers,
Really
Jean.
appreciate that, Jean. And let us know in the comment section, what is your thoughts on the year of Iga? Is there anything we've not touched on? I think we've said everything we can possibly say. We spoke for 40 minutes about her. I still think you're being a little harsh for 2023. I think she's going to continue this. I know you think it's going to be difficult. You find it difficult for her to maintain it. If you're going off her last match, then maybe you're onto something. But maybe you've just been a bit too much of the recency bias and you're judging her performance next year on her last match against Saba.
Oh, I'd be a fool to do that.
It's not like you've done that before, is it?
No, exactly. Muguruza. Right. Anyway,
Mendoza.
name shall not be uttered anyway.
And yeah, there is one thing we need to do before we do wrap it up, is of course promote some of the things we'll be doing. So the Q&A, the awards. Please make sure to vote in some of our award categories. I'll pop the link to our community in the live chat right now. Check it out. Vote. We also have a commentator of the year award. So hopefully we can get as many votes as possible. And of course, as Kathy says, it's only fitting to request the Iga button. We was going to play it anyway, but thank you so much, Kathy. That's very kind of you. And here is one of the buttons of the year. Maybe you want to vote for it in the community polls as well. But one more for you, Iga, in 2022, because we've got about 11 days left.
Yes.
Iga Swiatek.
The bakery be opening when the Polish girl be rolling in. Each victim be serving them breadstick in a bagel and I'm Iga when I'm beat ya, I'm a beat ya, gonna beat ya. I'm Iga, gonna suit ya. Now you can't handle my heat now.
Great button. Great year for Iga. Not many people could handle the heat. Will they in 2023? Let's find out very soon. I think she's winning 3 slams. Let's go, Iga. Yazda!
Come on, let's do it. Let us know if you've got any exciting Iga stats. Let us know in the comment section below. But we'll see you for more podcasts later this week.
The awards is next.